Summary of Counterparts by James Joyce. The story starts in Dublin at the end of a workday. Farrington, who works as a clerk, wants to leave work and go drinking with his friends, but he has to copy out a long, boring contract first. On top of that, his boss hates him because he heard Farrington imitating his North of Ireland voice. Aline, Farrington's boss, calls him into his office and yells at him for taking so long to finish the copying. If he doesn't finish it by the end of the day, Aline says he'll report him as inefficient. Farrington is frustrated and angry, so he chooses to sneak out of the office and grab a drink before trying to finish the project. He goes to a nearby bar, drinks a small beer and a shot of whiskey quickly, and then goes back to work. When the chief clerk gets back, he tells Farrington to take the papers to Aline's office right away. Farrington does this, even though he knows the papers aren't complete. He hopes Aline won't notice, so he can leave and enjoy the rest of his night. Farrington goes back to his desk and starts thinking about hot bars with lots of drinks. He can't focus on his work and is getting more and more angry at how slowly time is passing. He hopes against hope that he might be able to convince Aline to give him his pay early. Aline, meanwhile, has seen that Farrington hasn't finished his work. He marches to the clerk's desk with the beautiful Miss Delacour and yells at Farrington for being lazy. Farrington responds to this flood of insults with a cutting quip, which makes Miss Delacour laugh and makes Aline very angry. Farrington has to apologize to Aline for what he said, even though he is afraid of what will happen in the days to come. Even though he hasn't gotten his paycheck and has no money, he is now more motivated than ever to get drunk. He has to sell his watch to get money, and then he goes to the pub. There, he runs into his friends Nosey Flynn, O'Halloran, and Paddy Leonard. He tells them the story of how he got back at Aline, adding details to show how funny he is and how happy he is to have one. When another friend comes over, he tells the story again and again as he drinks beer and whiskey. They go to the next pub, where Weathers, an actor at a local theater, meets Farrington. Farrington buys him a few drinks and gets more and more angry when Weathers doesn't accept. The group then goes to a third pub, where Farrington spots a well-dressed woman at a table across from him. He looks at her from across the room and tries to flirt with her, but she gets up and walks past him. Farrington is then pushed into arm wrestling with Weathers, which makes him angry and hurt. Not once, but twice, he loses. The party breaks up, and Farrington goes home to Shelbourne Street, which is in the southern part of Dublin and is a lower middle-class neighborhood. The house is quiet and dark when he gets home. He doesn't have a wife to welcome him home, and his food isn't ready. When he calls for his wife, his son Tom answers and tells him she's at church. Farrington tells his son to make dinner on the stove, but when he sees that the fire has gone out, he gets so angry that he grabs the boy and beats him. Tom begs his father not to hurt him and says he'll say Hail Marys for him instead.
About the author. James Joyce was the oldest of 8 children in a big Catholic family that was poor. He went to Clongowes Academy, a school run by the strict Catholic Jesuits, when he was still young. He did well, and at age 18 he went to University College, Dublin, and then to Paris to try to study medicine. He dropped out, though, and started living as a wannabe hippie writer. In Paris, he started writing Dubliners, a collection of short stories about ordinary people in Dublin. It wasn't released until 1914. In 1902, he met Nora Barnacle, who would be his lifelong partner. That life was mostly spent in captivity, on the run, and traveling, mostly between Paris, Trieste, and Zurich. Joyce was always poor, so he worked wherever he could. He was a teacher, a bank clerk, and even the boss of a movie theater. During this time, he worked on his different writing projects, such as rewriting Dubliners, writing his autobiography A Portrait of the Artist as a young man, and gathering information for Ulysses, which would be his most amazing and long-lasting work. As his work appeared in more and more magazines, his fame grew. When Ulysses came out, it made him one of the most well-known writers in the world. Finnegan's Wake, a controversial book that was his last, took Joyce's creative style to a new level. Joyce was known as one of the most important writers of the 20th century when he died in 1941.
Hope we summarized it fully and you liked it. Please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel so that we are motivated to create more videos.